Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the Homebuilders Association Vancouver for our third webinar today. I'm just going to hold on for a couple of minutes as people filter into the webinar room. So if you just stand by, we'll get right back to you. Thank you. If you're just joining us now, we're just waiting for a few more people to enter the webinar. So if you just stand by, we'll get right back to you. Thanks. All right, I know there's still a few more people coming to join the webinar today, but I think what we'll do is get started and make sure that we maximize the time we have here with Keith today. My name is Wendy McNeil. I'm the VP of Marketing and Education with the Homebuilders Association, and I'd like to welcome everyone who is listening in today on our third in the webinar, special webinar series, Strategies to Help Your Business Survive During COVID-19. And I'll be acting as the moderator, and if you have any questions, we'll get through the agenda. So as you see on your screen, this is until 1 o'clock today, so we'll go through the agenda and keep us on time. So a few things, we'll be going through the guidelines if this is the first time you've attended a webinar with HAVAN, some resources that you can look to if you have any questions about the COVID-19, get to our speaker, and then question and answer period will be following Keith's presentation today, and then just talk about our next webinar coming up next week. And a guideline for those of you who have not attended before, just a reminder for those of you who have, the attendees are in a view-only mode. So if you have any questions, please use the Q&A function on your webinar navigation bar. You can just click on there, you can put in your questions. I've spoken with Keith, and just to ensure that we can get through all the material, we're going to get him to finish his presentation first, and then we'll dedicate about 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the presentation to go through your questions. We'll try our best to get to everything, but we may not be able to. So if you have any questions, we can give you his email, and you can follow up after this session too. And the recording of this webinar will be made available to everybody. We'll be posting it on eLearn, where the other webinars have been posted. It is free to attend. You just have to register, but you can receive that information after this session. This is our eLearn. If you're not familiar with it, it's elearn.havan.ca. And as you can see, we have the free COVID-19 webinars posted on there. And if you are a builder and you're looking for CPDs, because I know that BC Housing does require that, you still earn your CPDs. We do have online courses there available for your information and for your access. The COVID-19 resources page on HAVAN's website is updated almost daily. There's news from the federal, provincial, municipal levels. There's business resources. There's a whole bunch of links and blogs and information that we'd like to share with you. So please, I encourage you to visit it daily to get the latest information and updates. If you also have been seeing some great resources that you like to share you don't see on our website, please send us an email, and we'd be happy to post the information up on our website. So next week's seminar, we have the Housing Market Impacts and Recovery with Brendan Ogmundson, who's the Chief Economist at the BC Real Estate Association. So the registration is up, so I do encourage you, if you're interested, to register for that. And again, this is also a free session. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick audience poll just to see who's in your audience today. So you will see on your screen there a quick poll. So if you just take a couple seconds here and just fill in the button there, that's what best describes your business. Just get an idea of who's listening in today. That'd be great. All right, coming in, good. And we'll give it another 30 seconds here. All right. Perfect. So just to get a sense of who is there, we can see that we have a cross-section of people from developer, builders, renovators to professional services. So welcome today. Thank you very much for joining us. And before we get started, I just want to do a special mention and a thank you to our presenting sponsor, Fortis BC, fortisbc.com, as well as our patron sponsor, BC Housing at bchousing.org. They've both stepped up to help us share this information through a special COVID-19 webinar series. So thank you very much to those strong supporters of education and programs to allow us to be putting these on for free. And today's presenter, we have Keith Lloyd, who's the founder, partner, and CEO of the Business Surgeon Consultancy. And we have his email as well as his website on the screen, as you can see there. We'll repeat this slide at the end of the session too, in case you don't have a chance to write it down, but we also will send it to you in a follow-up email. So let's get started. So Keith, please take it away.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for attending, and thank you to you, Wendy, for reaching out to me to help all the wonderful people within Haven and outside of Haven to be part of this. A little nervous because this is not something I normally do. Usually, I work one-on-one or one-to-group with companies, and so my thing is that I really wanted to help everybody that I could within the Haven community and also out there in the business community, because I think it's really important that everybody has a sense of what they can do and how they can be proactive in all this. So with that, I'd like to get started with my presentation. Within that, so welcome to the seminar. This is Business Strategies to Thrive Beyond COVID-19. So it's all about coping with COVID. So just want to give you a little bit of background if you don't know me or if you haven't met me before. I was born and raised right here in Vancouver, 34 years as a very successful entrepreneur. Worked with hundreds and hundreds of businesses as an operations consultant, but I own the Business Surgeon, which I founded back in 2006. Our company is focused on helping companies grow. So what you're really good at, go do. And we will help you and collaborate with you to build your company and offer support, but also systems, processes, and do that kind of development with you so that you feel attached to your company. And you know, it's not just shelf help, it's something that you can actually use because you're part of it. We have lots of things that we do within the give back in the philanthropic community. We are a big believer and supporter of the Canadian Mental Health Association and Easter Seals House. As you can see on the right, I was a member of Haven Heroes last year, where we got to jump off the side of a building and rappel down for charity. So our team raised $23,000, which was awesome. In terms of my expertise, I've been in manufacturing. That was my first business that I ran for 20 years very successfully. I have a background in construction. I took construction schooling, and then now I've been with Haven for about 2.5 years. And I'm really excited to be part of this community. I think it's a great group of people. And if you're not a member of Haven, I would, you know, if you think that it's relevant for your business, I would reach out and find out how you can become a member. So I'm an international consultant, podcaster, and facilitator of mastermind groups as well. And my number one priority is family, absolutely. So with that, I want to make sure that you have a pen and paper handy because we're going to go through this quite quickly. There'll be time for question and answers at the end. I want to thank you all for coming. So thank you for that. And so let's get started. I want to give you an overview of what you're going to kind of get. And we're going to do this in some fun ways because we're in a very serious time. And I think a little lightness would be appropriate. I think just to give a little bit of I don't know, levity to a very serious situation. So we want to look at so this is what we're going to do today. We're going to look at your annual physical for your company. It's not as painful as you think. There's lots of great things out there and ways that you can make your company better. Prognosis. What's the prognosis? What are you going to do about this stuff? Taking care of your staff. If you have staff, then I want to make sure that you know that there's ways to be able to support your staff in a whole lot of ways, so that as we come out of COVID, you will be a much healthier company. We want to create some better business health for you, and with that, I'm going to show you some ways that you can do that. And then prevention. How do you prevent this from happening again? So, so let's get started. And also, I wanted to let you know that I have a gift right at the end. So if you stick around, there's an exciting announcement around that as well. So I think it's time for physical for your company. It's time to have a look. This is a great time within COVID. Some people aren't working, some people are working, some people are on job sites. Excuse me, but in all of that, there is a need to be able to look at your company. And there's no better time than now. For all those things that you've said, oh, I'll do that when I'm not so busy, or I'll do that when this happens. This is the time. This is absolutely the time to be looking at the structure of your business and how you can create better success even farther down the road. So it's all about how you look at it. So are you in danger, or is there an opportunity ahead? The danger is, oh my God, panic mode. That was 3 weeks ago what we saw in our business community. And you know, there's a lot of panic, a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of people were justifiably, sky is falling, sky is falling. What we looked at is what's the opportunity, and we chose to focus on the opportunity rather than some of the bad news that we know of that's out there. And it is serious. There's two important questions you want to ask yourself. Where are we now, and where are we going as a company? So the first part is assessment. So what are your current circumstances? Let's have a look at assessing your business now and not let that fear that you might have paralyze you or your business. And so by that, I'm talking about, okay, let's have a look at everything that's going on in your business. What is working? So let's do, you know, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are there opportunities out there right now for? What are the threats to my business? COVID is definitely a threat. It's real. And really, can you get through this? And how can you get through this to make this work? Okay. So assessing your business, what can you do right now to ensure your future success? So this really comes down to, in the assessment process, what do you need to do to shift and pivot your business right now to be able to keep it going, to be able to thrive in this? Because there is ways to thrive in it. I'm going to show you that in a bit. Let's assess your business now in terms of your current circumstances. So, okay, maybe there's some things that cash flow may not be there. Operationally, it's really difficult because you've got physical distancing. You've got all kinds of things that really make a difference to how you're going to run your business, not only now, but later. So in terms of your business, you want to make sure that you are protecting the people, not only the people around you, yourself as well, and making sure that everything is taken care of from a side of not transmitting this disease or this virus. So protective equipment is really important, and depending on who you are out there that's listening to this webinar, it may not be hazmat suits, it may be gloves, it may not be gloves, it may be just masks, you know, and for you, and it may be, you know, just staying at home. That's your protective equipment. Your computer right now, or your phone, is part of your protective equipment in all this, because it keeps you distanced from people. Safety, you know, what kind of things can you do to create some better safety on the job site? You know, wiping down equipment, sanitized cloths and things like that is really important. Doing some physical distancing. 6 feet, we all know this. We've had this drilled into us for like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks at least. So, you know, just make note of people, and we're all under stress right now around all this. So if you're not seeing people respecting some of these things, what we suggest is that you don't rip into them, but you gently remind them. So the planning part of your business, this is a really important part of your business, because this is where you get to assess exactly what it is that you want to do with your business. You know, how is it going to move forward? How are you going to do? And there's a lot of people that are wondering that. How am I going to get through this? Well, so what can your business look like in the future? Well, maybe it's the same thing in some ways, in that if you're serving the public, or you have clients that you deal with one-on-one, and you have to be there in front of them, maybe what you can do is change some other pieces of your business. So maybe your marketing is something that you can change in the way that you reach out to people. I know for us, right now we're really, really busy, but we also look at our future. And so is our future going to be bright? You know, what do our funnels look like? What do our sales funnels look like? What do our marketing funnels look like? So this is some of the things that you can start looking at, because your business can be around as long as you want it to be. You just have to do the right things to make it work. Okay. So strategies to keep your business moving forward, changing direction, pivoting. These are all words that are going to be used over the next little while as people start to look at, well, what can I do, right? So consider your different audiences and how limited they may be and how they may change, how much that might change because of COVID, because this is something that is definitely going to change the way we do business going forward. And so you have to look at that. What's best advantageous for us as a company to make that work? So in all that, you know, we want to make sure that you're healthy or relatively healthy financially. And so, you know, we want to get a stat on that. You know, if you're bleeding money, it doesn't have to be as badly as you may think. There are lots of government agencies and things like that out there that are willing to help. And we're going to talk about what you can do about your bills and your future bills, because a lot of people are worried about that. This country runs off of credit for business. It's vital to every business, whether it be a credit line, whether it be a loan. Who you're dealing with is really important, depending on how they're working. Banks have, I know our bank has reached out to us to let us know that they're willing to do some great things for us going forward as we kind of get through all this. So some of the things that you might want to do within all this. So for instance, I want to talk a little bit about your cash flow. Okay, so how is your cash flow right now? It may not be great. And so let's look at ways that we can minimize cash flow for you. In terms of suppliers, reach out to all your suppliers right now. Don't wait for them to call you, because once they've called you, you're already in their not so good books. So what I suggest is that you reach out to all your suppliers that are providing you with goods and products and even services, and say, look, just not right now, but I am committed to making sure that we will make sure that you get paid. As we kind of get through this, here's what we're doing. Give them a plan. Give them an idea as to what dates you kind of can see, if you have some idea as to when you might be coming out of this. They're saying it could be as early as July. It could be as late as next year, because as we get into the winter and there's more viruses that come up, and it becomes more, and people become more susceptible to them. As a business surgeon, I highly recommend that you boost your immunity and make sure that your immunity is high in all this, not just that you're physical distancing and things like that. In terms of cash flow, reach out to your clients and talk to them specifically about, hey, here's where we're at. We want to be able to help you, and we want to continue to provide our services for you, or our products. How can we work with you to make sure that you stay in the flow of things? And a lot of your customers will really appreciate that. What you can do is ask them for small advances as you need them. Obviously, there's some ways, in terms of doing the work or providing the products, you're still going to need to do that. Or you may have to shut down completely. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what happens within that as well. In terms of your benefits package, some of you out there may have benefits packages that you have with companies, Sun Life or others, Manual Life. And so what I would suggest is, because not all those things in your benefits package are accessible right now, I would suggest that you approach them and talk to them about maybe getting a little bit of a break on some of the things that you can't access right now, or are paying for. In terms of the companies themselves, most of them that we've dealt with, that we've talked to, are fairly amenable to creating something a little bit different. There are some that aren't, though. And so what we recommend is that you have a really good heart-to-heart conversation with your agent and see what they can do for you. And if they're not very easygoing, then maybe it's time to move to a different company to supply those benefits, something that falls more in line with helping others. Looking beyond COVID-19, yeah, I mean, we highly recommend that you create a cash flow projection. For anyone that's interested in that, we can provide that for you just as a template, and we're happy to do that. And so then you can start projecting out what your cash flow is going to look like in the next few years. And that's complimentary to anyone that's on this webinar. So creating a plan for catching up, because at some point, some of this is going to have to be paid back, or all of this is going to have to be paid back. So with the banks giving you all this, extra credit and all these other things, you got to create that plan for catching up and thriving. And so that's where that cash flow predictor comes in, but also start talking to your suppliers, and how can we create a plan specifically around paying you back, but in installments. So for instance, a lot of people are worried about their rent right now. That's very, very common right now. So approach your landlord and talk to them specifically about, okay, so I may not be able to pay you for the next couple of months. What could we do? How can we make this work? Under these circumstances, what can we do to kind of create something that will work best for both of us? And so what I suggest is that you present a plan. Maybe it's a 12-month plan where you delay for 2 months and then you catch up over that next 10-month period. So it's a 1-year plan, basically, where you say, okay, if our rent is $2,000 a month for our commercial space, then that's $24,000 a year. Now, if we were to take that and roll it into a 12-month amortization, where we don't pay for the first couple of months because of all this, we would end up paying you back maybe $2,400 every month for the next 10 months after that. So this will free up your cash flow considerably, and it'll probably take a little bit of stress off you as well in all this. So creating that plan for catching up, that's part of how you can do that. The other part is to start looking for business, and also to be working with your staff and within your operation itself. Even if you're a solopreneur, start looking at what you're doing within your operations that can help you during this time where you may be idle. So, excuse me. So that said, There's an HR component in all this. So whether it's you only or your employees, how are you taking care of them? So are you reaching out to them on a daily basis or a weekly basis and saying, look, we're still wanting to have you work with us. Maybe there's some things we can do that are outside the scope of what you normally do. Are you hooked into the government project plans that are available to you? Here are what is available to you if you haven't done it yet. We urge that you take care of this. Okay. For some businesses, and I know for ours, we don't have a lot of advantages in all this. We're a small business, and even though we have employees, we're not able to take advantage of that, the full benefits package that the government is providing. So what are you doing with your at-home staff? So if you have staff that are sitting at home and wondering what their future is going to be with the company, that's one thing. But here's how you can reassure them. Start talking to them about doing some new training, connecting them with, connect with current and potential suppliers. Look at what things you can do, learn more, learn about different products, learn about do an upgrade in what you need to know about the industry itself. The construction industry, for example, is going to high performance homes, and we'll be doing that in an escalated version up until about 2031, I think, or 33. And for that, they're going to need some training as to be able to speak that language, but also to be able to talk to people about, what are their needs? What do they need in all this? So get some training, figure out some training that you can provide for your employees in all this time as well. Maybe it's learning new parts of your business that they can help you with. Give them that opportunity. They're probably more eager than ever to be able to do that. Upgrade your own knowledge as well. I mean, what do you need to know? Maybe there's some things within your business that you have been wanting to do for so long. For us, it's been webinars. We knew that digital marketing was an important thing and an important part of our business, and yet it's something that we haven't really gotten to. However, COVID for us has been really important, and it's been an opportunity for us. Remember that word opportunity. It's been a great opportunity for us to be able to look at how can we digitally market ourselves. So we're looking and reaching out to do more webinars and other things in the digital realm. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the marketing portion of this in a little bit. So upgrade your knowledge. What do you need to do? What would you like to have as part of your knowledge base going forward? Maybe it's a new software that you need to learn, or maybe it's, for us, part of what we've been doing is we've been upgrading our website. We've also been looking at our systems integration, so everything that, putting everything on a Google platform and in the cloud, so that we have access anywhere from anywhere. And we've also been doing, like I say, these things, learning about webinars. So what is it that you can be doing to upgrade your knowledge as a business owner? So I also want to remind you that for some of the information that you might want to need or might want to have to be able to work and take care of your employees, there is the HAVAN HR webinar that came out 2 weeks ago, I believe, that you can go back and listen to. It's a recorded webinar, and Wendy may be able to fill you in on that more at the end of this. So your team, who are they? Can they shift gears? Maybe you have people on your team that aren't necessarily people that you have wanted to keep on beyond this. Maybe it's something where they don't have the skill sets, and you don't think that they're going to be capable of attaining those skill sets going forward. Take care of them, but also see, first of all, see if they are willing to change and shift. But we are a big proponent of having the right people in the right positions, huge. And with the companies that we work with, that's one of the first things that we find is a challenge, is that people get hired. In some cases, they're a warm body to fill a seat, and they can just get by with that person. What can you do to either help those people upgrade or to upgrade those people? Right now, there's a pool of people out there looking for work, and now is a great time to start looking and talking to them and seeing what you need. First of all, it's an assessment of what your needs are within your company, and then seeing if the people that you have are those people, and if they're not, who do you need to bring in? Team Zoom meetings are really important. Do a Zoom meeting with your whole team every week. Find out, even if the business is not functioning as it normally does, if it's not busy, talk to people about in those Zoom meetings about, hey, what are you doing? What do you need support with? How can we help you? What do you want to learn? Here's what's going on with our company. Give them updates on a regular basis. This is a very stressful time for them, just as much as it is for business owners. So Zoom meetings are really great for that, because you can get a sense from your team. It's more than just a phone call. It's seeing those physical attributes and seeing those things that they, from a body language perspective, as to what they're really feeling. Provide them with some security and a clear picture of where you want to be farther down the road. Hey, this is what we're doing to, when we get back into the swing of things, the regular swing of things as they were before. They won't be regular, but what is it that looks like for them? Provide them with that clear picture of what you see the company as being. Provide them with some ideas as to what you're looking at in terms of planning the business to rock it up once we get back to kind of semi-normal here. So planning and acting. Planning and acting is a really important part of this. The acting part is the most important. Make sure that when you're talking to the suppliers and finding out what they're providing, whether this is something that maybe you already have a supplier who's really good at providing you with this service or this product. It's always good to have a backup. Supply chains are messed up all over the world right now. And so what are the things that you can do to create maybe the possibility of another supplier coming in when you're working on a project or working in your business to provide services or products for your customer. So it's really important that you have those backups, because what if that client has to wait for 4 weeks when really they might only have to wait a few days. So build your community of resources. This is an awesome time to be able to reach out to suppliers that have contacted you over the last 6 months to a year, to find out exactly what they do provide. Sometimes it's, when you're in the thick of things, it's just white noise when someone approaches you and says, hey, I've got a great product or a great service for you. So reach out to them and build your community of resources. This book, the HAVAN membership directory, is a perfect example of what you can do to reach out to people within the association. And if you aren't in the association, look at who you could be going to, that you've always looked at as a competitor for the provider that you already have. Okay, talk to your peers. Network. I mean, we're physical distancing, not social distancing. So talk to people over the phone or on Zoom, and build up those relationships with them. Create new networks. Build your network out. There are a lot of ways to be able to do that. And use HAVAN and use the HAVAN members directory specifically if you are a member. This is a perfect time to be able to do that. If you've never picked it up, pick it up. We're a big proponent of creating and refining your systems and processes. So if there's things that aren't quite working the way you think they should, or if you anticipate that you're going to be swamped with business beyond this, start looking at your systems and processes and what isn't working, and start creating some new systems that will be able to help you scale up once we get back to kind of in the swing of things. The other thing to look at in all this is how do you avoid this in the future? I mean, this came upon us very quickly. And so, you know, we were all kind of gobsmacked by this, and we weren't really ready. A lot of companies weren't really ready to go into this. So start looking at having a crisis plan, or what we call disaster plan, in place. In some ways, we're very lucky because this was not a natural disaster. This was not an earthquake. This was not a flood. This was not any of those kinds of things. And this has given us all an opportunity, there's that word again, to be able to look at what could we do differently going forward, okay? Because, you know, this isn't working, obviously. So you create opportunities. Create those opportunities for your company and even for yourself. So I want to give you a few strategies to keep your sales funnel full while respecting the environment that we're in. I mean, right now, we are not doing any hard selling. We are completely looking at doing, how can we help you? I don't care. I personally don't care about the money. I care about how your business is actually going to be working beyond this. And so for us, reach out. You know, we are reaching out to past clients. We're reaching out to our current clients to keep them on track. We are, you know, even talking to clients that, you know, maybe have not been our favorite clients in the past, but they are very happy about the fact that we're reaching out to them. So do that. You know, talk to all these people and keep that funnel at least moving. If you've got some momentum, keep it going. Digital marketing is really important in all this as well. We have a company that we worked with a few years ago that's within the association, Abstract Homes and Renovations, and they have been very, very good about providing a lot of content as to what they do on the site, on site with their construction. And so they've been really great about helping people understand the rights and the wrongs in the industry and how to do things the right way. So here's some other things that you can do. Website updating. So how's your website looking these days? When was the last time that you actually looked at your website, let alone did anything in the way of content creation or updating your content? Facebook ads, you know, maybe there's ways that you can use right now to be able to create some lead generation for your company. It's a very inexpensive way to do it, and if you do it right, you will get lots of leads. Facebook posting with videos, this is what I was talking about with Abstract. They did a great job of that, and as a result, their business has grown substantially over the last 2 or 3 years. Blogs. So in terms of blogging, talk about what your expertise is. There are a lot of people out there that don't know how to, whatever it is. They want to know and make it interesting. YouTube videos, great way to be able to communicate with your audience and show them exactly what you do and also give them your personality. This is also a great way to be able to start asking people what they're looking for, okay? And webinars. And like I said, for us, webinars has been a great way to be able to reach out and help people. It's relatively low cost, and if you do it right, you will get lots of leads. Better branding. So there's a couple of ways to look at that. What are you doing right now? If you're on site, if you're in construction sites, if you're still working in retail, whatever that might be, how are you showing up and coming across to your clients, to your customers, and to your suppliers? So are you being responsible there? How is your branding showing up? So take a look at that. Your marketing communications. Who are you talking to? How are you communicating? And that goes back to that social digital marketing as well, right? What is the message that you are putting out? You know, we work with a lot of companies on core values. Talk to people about what your core values are within your company. What is your mission? You know, what's the mission of your company? What is your vision for your company 5 to 10 years from now? What are the things that you need to do to help people understand that you are a great company? So talk to your current clients, you know, get some feedback from them. What is it that's really great about us? What is it that we do that you love? And what is it that we do that you're not so thrilled about? How can we improve? And they will appreciate that very much because you're asking for feedback. Talk to your prospects. Find out what they're looking for. What are their needs right now? You know, what results can you provide for them? Don't talk about what you do. Talk about what results they can get. Okay? And create some marketing that actually works. Do that by getting feedback from your clients, your current clients. How did you find us? What was it that we did that helped you in all this and helped you make a decision that we were the right company for you to work with? And then stay on track with your image. So this means things like making sure that, you know, your physical distancing. Social distancing and physical distancing are two very different things. Don't become a hermit in all this. This is an opportunity for you to get out and do more. We've been busier than ever with this business because, you know, we're talking to clients, we're doing work, we're doing as much as we can to stay in the loop and at top of mind for everybody. Make sure that you continue to, you know, look at your equipment and is it the right one? Is it the right equipment for the site? And then finally, where are you going to take your company? So what is your vision? Because maybe right now you are in a lot of fear and your exit strategy might be to get out right now. I don't recommend that unless you're really in trouble. There are lots of resources out there to be able to help you. And so maybe it might be that 5 to 10 years from now, you're looking to sell your business. Is it sellable? In a lot of companies right now, there's a lot of companies that are transitioning from an older owner to either their kids or a different owner. And so what do you need to have in place specifically that will satisfy and attract somebody that wants to buy your business? So if your books are good, if they're all in order, if your marketing is all in great shape and you have a great image out in the community, in the business community and just out in the community in general, then those are things that people are going to look at. They want to look at your bottom line, obviously, as well. So plan an exit strategy. This is something that when we work with companies, a lot of them don't have that. And it's a missing piece because you're not going to be there forever. Dying is inevitable. So what are you going to do with your company? Are you going to leave it to your family? Is there something for you to leave to your family? And work at building independence from your company, because companies are worth significantly more when you are removed from your company, because then you have the ability to attract investors in all this into your company. People that want just a return. They want to know that it's running properly, that they've got a good general manager who can kind of transition things. And how long are you going to stay beyond the buying of that new owner buying the company? That's stuff that you should be looking at right now. It's a great time. So going forward from today, because we're going to start wrapping this up, what are you going to do differently? As a result of this webinar, what has changed for you? What are you going to do differently? What has shifted in the way that you're thinking? And will you pivot? Some people won't, and they will continue to wallow in a lot of fear and resistance. If you say, yes, I am willing, then how does that look? So, pivoting is, as business owners, we all have to do that at one point in time or another. And it grows our business, or it creates something different in the way of a dynamic. Action steps. So here's the action steps that I would like you to see. I would like to hear that you took as a result of this webinar today. First of all, planning for your future success. So what does that look like? Like, who is your target market? Have you defined it? How is your operations going? What's your marketing looking like? You know, who are the people that are in your company that can take your company to the next level? Get your financial matters in order. Talk to your suppliers, talk to your landlord, talk to everybody that you need to, and your accountant, to make sure that you are financially stable going forward, that you have a plan. Creating that financial plan is so important for your business. And if you don't have a good accountant that can help you plan, we know of a number of accountants that will be able to help you with that, and we're happy to refer you to them. Your HR training and upgrading. Have a look at what you can do and get going on helping your staff or you to do upgrading in your knowledge, whether it be marketing or other things within your business. Build relationships with your suppliers. So phone them, you know, after this webinar, give a call to one of your suppliers and just say, hey, how's it going? You know, how can we work with you better in this time? And stay in touch with your prospects. You know, if you've got some prospects in your funnel, talk to them. Tell them exactly what your situation is. Hey, you know, we're still working. You know, there were people that I heard on a call today that said, oh, you're still going? You guys are still working? Absolutely. So make sure that they know about that as well. And your digital marketing. Your action step for today is to just pick one thing. Do one thing. It may be uncomfortable for you, but maybe it's doing a video, or maybe it's looking at, okay, what does my website look like? Oh my God, it's a mess, right? So look at all of those things as well. And here's the breaking news. I have a gift for all of you that are on the webinar. For anybody that would like to take advantage of this, I will give you 10 minutes of our time helping you with your business. So reach out to us. Wendy alluded to my email at the bottom, or at the beginning of this, and at the end she'll do it as well. Or reach out to businesssurgeon.ca. We have a way to contact us there. We would be happy, more than happy, to help you with your business right now at no charge for 10 minutes. And you can get a lot done in 10 minutes. Somebody brought that up with me yesterday. A lot can get done in 10 minutes. It gets you going, and it gets you a plan of action to start with. So let us help you more. So I want to give a big thank you to HAVAN and Wendy, and to you for showing up and staying with a full-on commitment to working on your business in these uncertain times. It is not an easy time for business owners. It is not an easy time for anybody. But with this, we will all get through this together. So with that, I want to thank you for coming to the webinar today. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Keith. I think that was a lot of great information, and I know that there is lots to absorb and take back into their own thoughts and get that going. And thank you for that offer too. I think people sometimes just need to bounce some ideas off of someone who's not in their business, just to get a clear sense of what to do next. So I encourage those of you who are on the webinar to take advantage of that. I think it's a great opportunity. It looks like there's some nice comments here. If there's any questions, you can use the Q&A, and it's open here. But if there isn't too many, I think what we can do is, what we're doing is, you can see my screen, we have Keith's information here if you had not seen it at the beginning. But again, we'll be sending the link to this webinar as well as his contact information. That would be great. There is a question here. Can you please send your cash flow template? So I guess let's see, this you can answer now, or if you can maybe include it in your package as you talk to people, Keith.
Absolutely. So reach out to me, be happy to have a conversation with you, and with that, I would be happy to provide you with that cash flow predictor. It's a great tool for you to be able to use in your business.
Fantastic. Okay, so I think we're gonna wrap up here unless there's any other questions. Just a reminder that next week we'll be returning to our usual Tuesday lunch hour webinar time. It will be on Tuesday, April 21st, and it's going to be the COVID-19 housing market impacts and recovery with Brendan Ogmanson from the BC Real Estate Association. So he'll be looking at the economic and housing outlook as we get through this together. So I do encourage you, if you are interested, to sign up for that one. It is available at havan.ca/events. You can see that on there. Just click on it, and again, registration is free. And following the seminar, this webinar, sorry, we'll get the recording sent out to everybody who's a participant, and as well on the education update that's coming out tomorrow to all members. And so if you're not a member, I do encourage you to make sure you watch out for the follow-up email that's coming to you, and share the information with people you think would benefit from it. It's all here for free, and we want to just make sure people who need the information get the information. So we do encourage you to take advantage of that. So I guess without further ado, then I think we're wrapped up.
Wendy, one other thing.
Yes.
I mentioned in the presentation that you had the HR recording.
Mm-hmm.
The webinar from a couple of weeks ago. Maybe just allude to that. Is that possible?
Yes. So what we have done is posted all the free webinars onto our eLearn platform. So it's elearn.havan.ca, and they are all listed on there, including the navigating the human resource side of business during COVID-19. That's the full title for that particular webinar, and it is available. You do have to sign up for eLearn. However, it takes maybe a minute, if that maximum, but it is free to watch the program, and all the COVID-19 related webinars are all free, and they're all posted on there just to centralize the information. So I encourage you to take some time and do look through that, because it's some valuable information that our members are sharing. So we're happy to be a resource for members, and for those of you in the industry who are not members. So we do hope you take advantage of that. So without further ado, then I think we're almost time. So if you have any suggestions for future webinar topics, please email them to me, wendy@havan.ca. And that's a wrap for today. So thank you, Keith, very much for sharing your expertise and insight today. We do appreciate it, and good job on your first webinar.
Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that feedback.
You're welcome. And the information will be sent out shortly to everybody if you wanted to follow up with Keith, and we'd be happy to see you next week at this next session on the 21st. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.